mooring in Europe, backing into any dock where you may be coming off the transom of the boat. You've got a passerelle here. This extends out the back of the boat. It articulates up and down. And there's a second section here. And that can be raised up to board the boat. When done, roll it back in. Done. Here we're lowering the crane with the bracket on it. We've extended out the two davit arms here to lift up the dinghy. You can see the dinghy chocks right now are cantilevered. These swing back and then lock into place and extend out over the back of the boat so we can place the dinghy here. When not used, you got this nice deck space. Right now the captain's hooking the bridle onto the dinghy. We've brought the cantilevered brackets in right now, so the dinghy's going to come up on this edge. When we have it over the back of the deck, the cantilevers swing in and the dinghy lands on those chocks. The captain's now lifting up the dinghy. He has a wireless remote to raise and lower this, so he can be in the water, on the transom, anywhere he needs to be, and still raise and lower the dinghy quite easily. You notice he just leveled the dinghy, so you can control the winches independently to lift up any type of craft and balance it. Now that we've got the dinghy up and it's clear, we're going to cantilever the chocks out. Really simple. Now we're going to go ahead and bring it in and then drop it down here on the chocks. Piece of cake. We're in the port engine compartment. This boat has two 21 kilowatt generators, one on each side, so the weight's balanced very well. I'm standing on top of the engine platform. This has a Cummins turbo diesel. There's very few signs of corrosion or paint chipping, and it looks like the engine and the engine rooms have been kept really clean. Here on the wall you can see a very sophisticated switching system. This is to be able to switch between the port and the starboard generators, between shore power and generator on either one of the legs. These are day tanks. It's a very sophisticated fuel management system. So simply the way this works is it takes fuel from the fuel tank, puts it in the day tank. It gets circulated through a filter, an algae separation system, and it keeps cycling like that. So this tank is kept separate from the rest of the fuel. When it's polished and clean and you can verify through the sight gauge that the fuel is acceptable to run through the engine, it can then be released. You can have an automatic flow, you can stop it, you can clean up the fuel, or you can run it straight from there. Great for long range offshore cruising where you may be in remote areas and not being assured of having the best quality fuel or having to get water separated out of it. So really a great resource. You can see the filters and the fuel's like perfectly clear in this boat. In the starboard engine compartment, you got the engine situated here underneath me, transmission, you got another 21 kilowatt generator there. This is a 220 volt water maker, huge capacity, and there's a backup 24 volt one a little bit further back in the engine compartment. I'll show you when you come down. We still have the fuel separation tanks here with day tank configuration. And on this side we have the air conditioning controls as well. We've got a dual chilled water compressor system. This is the hydraulic reservoir for the steering system. So you've got a pump, a filter tank, and then that ties in here with the rest of the hydraulics. and you see the controls there on the other side, the other compartment. Back here is another sea recovery water maker. This is a backup 24-volt system, and it can be run in addition or just simply preserved and kept as a backup in case the 220 high capacity water maker goes down. You got the exhaust lines running through here, muffler, 21 kilowatt generator. AC compressor. This is a dual chilled water system. So there's actually two cooling compressors in here. On this side here, we've got another day tank. This is for conditioning the diesel fuel before running it through the engines. All right, so to lift the jet ski out, we've got a full-size Sea-Doo. This is a really large two-person personal watercraft. We've got a winch here that attaches to a bracket that lifts this out of this bay. This crane arm actually slides out to there, and then from here we can lower the jet ski down into the water. There's also some options for some different types of chocks here. If you wanted to use a different style personal watercraft here, you've got a wakeboard. These are carbon fiber poles that go up on the deck that a tent attaches to give you some shade. You've got plenty of fishing gear here. Got a nice Penn International 80. So the control line attached to the personal watercraft lifts it up, and then here the crane carries it out overboard and then drops it into the water where we have the dinghy right now. Right, so when you're done with your personal watercraft, boom, close this down. Some very nice cushions that go over the top of this. This fitting here, totally secure. Starboard forward bilge in the owner's closet floor. This space is enormous. There's 5 feet of headroom in here, huge water tanks, loads and loads and loads of storage. It's really pretty amazing. So we'll come down here and we'll take a couple shots in here. It's a real surprise. All right, up here in the starboard forward bow, you got the battery banks for the bow thruster. This boat has 2 bow thrusters, one on each side. They operate independently.